Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Be the Media Huntington, the Huntington View. Tonight is Tuesday, January 30th, 2018, and this will be our new time slot. We will be coming to you now in the future, Tuesdays, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. We made the decision tonight to move the time up to get ahead of the presidential State of the Union address. So tonight, I am joined with Dana.
Hi, guys.
And Lisa.
Hello, everyone.
And we kind of had our own little local State of the Union address recently, did we not?
Yes, we did.
We did. Have any highlights?
Enlighten us about our Mr. Cuomo guy and all the fun, good things he's doing or wants to do.
Well, he said he was doing a really good job. He definitely has several pet projects, including building the Red Hook Bridge, some subway improvements, a lot of infrastructure stuff. I think he smells the infrastructure federal money coming down the pike, and he's ready to spend it in New York State because I can't think of any other reason since all the other taxes are crazy in New York. But there was a bridge that they've been talking about for years, if not decades, the bridge to Connecticut. Do you guys know anything about that?
I've heard about it, but I don't know a lot about it.
I definitely know about the bridge to Connecticut. The cost for me, the issue for me would be the cost. And then also keep in mind that in order to do that, what would be the effects that it would have on the Long Island Sound? I mean, we're already beating it up as is. And that was one such a lucrative place for our fishing community, and getting all our seafood is so tainted now. So, I mean, along with the cost, our natural sea life, what's going on, what would go on, it wouldn't be good for us. But to spend $55 billion on the bridge, I don't see I don't think, we have a ferry that goes to Connecticut, and I'm sure for those of us who wants to commute back and forth, the ferry is sufficient. I don't see a need for a bridge right this particular
I'm trying to look.
moment.
I think that he stopped because the big argument decades ago was that the people that live on the North Shore didn't want their view impeded in any way. So they didn't want a bridge. And I think what he's now proposing is actually a tunnel. That's what he's been talking about, the tunnel to Connecticut. But there are definitely a lot of issues there. And that's just one project, $55 billion.
Would it be?
Billion.
I don't. And a tunnel would be even worse than a bridge. So.
That would be much more intrusive to the sound underneath and everything.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't see too many people, and I would have to agree with the people who live over there. I'm sure they purchase their homes or they purchase their properties based off of course, what they're looking at. They've already paid what they wanted. Why should we go there and try to do the bridge? So then if you combat that with a tunnel, then it's like, okay, well, what about all the friendly, sea creatures we have down there? They don't have a say. We already jacked them up by all the pollution we put in the sound as is.
And the plastic bags.
Yeah, the 5 cents. So.
Oh, speaking of bags, oh my goodness. I want to make sure I show these before the night goes too far. I got some bags. These are 3 for $20 from my friend Nancy. No thanks, Suffolk County. I'll keep my nickel. I'd rather spend $20 on these great bags than give anything to them in taxes.
Nice.
And taking every last nickel. But they're really good quality and they're super big, like really big. But they're like that canvas. Yeah, they are.
Oh, good.
So they're really good bags. I have some
extra
surprise. I'm going to get them over to you. Yeah, speaking of destroying the environment with those little plastic bags, we're going to instead do it with the canvas bags.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to bring home a lot of plastic.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how that works out, but, keep hope alive, I guess, because I don't see how that's going to make such a big impact. considering how much plastic we really use.
Yeah. Speaking about the $55 billion,
Billion.
who decides on what's going to get built, fixed, purchased with all that money? That's astronomical. Who decides that?
Our government. Our government functions just like our federal government. So, like, Cuomo is the president of New York, and he has a House and he has a Senate, and so they have to introduce a bill, and it works its way up through, and that's how they get funding. The state of and they have to put it in the budget and all that. It functions the same way the federal government does, the exact same thing. I think what happened under the last election, if I'm not mistaken, is they lost the House in New York to the Republicans, so they have more work to go through now. Now they don't have, the Democratic House, the Democratic Senate, and the Democratic governor of New York. The one or the other one is under Republican control now. I could be wrong on that. I hope I'm not wrong.
I just think that money. I just think that a lot of that money should go to help our veterans. I don't think they get enough. I don't think they get enough help or enough resources for them. I mean, not like Huntington with the non-veteran housing.
Lisa, you're the only one that cares about veterans, so just face the facts. Because nobody else, I mean, let's face it, if we cared about the veterans, they would have housing.
I care about the veterans and the water, and my nasty tasting water.
Yeah.
Okay, I can go to the veterans housing, but I was ready for pothole.
Speaking of that,
I was ready for pothole.
Sorry, I jumped the gun.
We could come back to potholes. We could definitely come back to potholes.
Well, that's the one I had set up for you, but that's okay. I can click around right now.
I think of that money. That's what I think of. It's just ridiculous.
No, you're right though. One of the more successful live videos that we had, and by successful I mean we're just getting so many views now on some of our stuff that we have up on the Facebook page, where I kind of just stop and look around town and see what's going on, and I do a quick little snippet. One of my favorite ones to stalk is, of course, the one that is right in my backyard, almost. I drive by the Huntington First Aid Community Squad, and right across the street is where we've been promised for years and years and years to have veterans housing.
How long has it been? 6, 7 years?
Been so long. So all the information, though, if anybody wants to go, you go to our Facebook page. It's called The Huntington View. And there's videos that were just quick little live videos that we've done around town. And there's one of the first ones is the veterans housing from last year. It was June. And all the information to back up everything is linked in the comments on that video. So it shows you the history of how far back it goes and how long it's been going on. Let's see if I could bring you this one. So it's been going on for a really long time. I see it all the time. So of course it bothers me. And a lot of people watch this video this week. Well, good morning, everyone. It's Jenny Lee with the Huntington View again. I'm in Huntington Station, over by the Huntington Community First Aid Squad off Railroad Mounds Avenue. And this is what I like to refer to on our show many, many times as the veterans non-housing. You can see a path has now been worn here from the people who walk on it. And see where it's still open down there. If you go back and look at the videos that we've done from time to time, what is that? You will see that we were here 7 months ago. Not much has changed. There's just random items of garbage around here. We recently had a new person appointed to our town board by the name of Joan Circle. And she was head of the EDC, the Economic Development Corporation, and was responsible for filing for grants to help get some of our tax money back into our neighborhoods to help build these projects, affordable projects, not the non-affordable ones like they're building down in the village. But if you go back and you look at the video, I believe it was June 2017, I give a lot of information and background on this particular parcel and why it's still not built. We continue to hear the echo chamber of needing affordable housing or housing for our veterans. And this is one parcel of property that, I could link an article, 40 years of revitalization for Huntington Station. And so far we have one building from source to station, which is apartments. This was in the works well before source to station was even a glimmer in Frank Catrone's eyes. So this has been sitting undone. I pass this multiple times a day, and it's shovel ready. It's ready to go, but it's still just not done. Meanwhile, in the village, there are dozens of projects waiting in the wings, dozens of projects currently being worked on, and many that are done and just not even rented. So I guess revitalization of Huntington Station means overdevelopment of Huntington Village. That's the only conclusion one can draw when you look at the veterans' non-housing and the amount, millions. I think we're over 8 million now at this point in grants. So I guess this is what $8 million worth of grants looks like. Hope everyone enjoyed today's view. Don't forget to go back and look at our. So I'm going to stop that right there, but you can see in the comments on this video, I linked the previous video that has all sorts of great information all throughout it. It's a little depressing.
Yeah, it is. I pass it by. I pass it all the time, and I just look at it. The little plastic doll leg. That was a great effect. Kidding me. That was ridiculous.
The one thing that I have a problem with when it comes to the whole situation, I really wish people would stop calling it affordable housing for veterans. Let's be clear. These people risk their lives for us, for our safety. So it should not be called affordable housing for veterans. It should simply be housing for veterans, because we shouldn't really be charging them. They shouldn't have to come back to a country that they fought for, that they kept us safe from, and tell them what they can and can't afford. You know, I have a real problem with that. The second thing is, if this was in the works for so many years, who is representing the veterans? Because somebody has to be, it can't just be put on the government for not putting up the housing. Okay, because yes, they get grants. Yes, they get they're supposed to do things. We understand that, we get. But who is in charge for speaking for them to ensure that these grants that are given are implemented properly? Because if you're telling me that this has been going on for 6 or 7 years.
So originally, it was sold to the public as affordable housing. They added on veterans after a few years to make the idea more palatable to the community pushback that they were getting.
Wow.
And that's the truth. You can go through and you can look at all the inception of the project, and when it started, it was not originally built as veterans housing. We were told they would make it veterans housing to get us to compromise to accept it.
But even when they did the compromise, so you're saying, and I'm not doubting what you're saying, that indicates to me, not only did you try to sell me something that you knew I wouldn't go for, then you put a mask on it and presented it again. And I may have taken the bait then, and you still reneged on the project.
Well, it seems like it doesn't matter what they're going to build there. Nothing's been built, and it's just a big, ginormous grant money pit. At the end of the day, we have nothing there, regardless of who it was for. There was grant money that was applied for and taken over a long period of time that was used on other things that it was not originally intended for when the grant was applied for. So it's a deceitful type of practice, especially, when you're playing that whole sleight of hand magic trick with the general public to get them to accept these types of high density housing projects.
I just have a hard time when I go through paperwork and I read and I get the information and I see no community input for programs, especially or programs or projects like this. Where's the where is the loudest person at that point in time? Because I guarantee you, if you had somebody stay on top of these people that were put in charge of this housing or any other project that the money was reallocated for whatever purpose, perhaps we wouldn't be having this discussion right now.
I think I'm living proof that they don't work with the people who are the most loud. They work with the people who are the most compliant.
No, they work. No, now that I would have to disagree with, because they may not admit it, but they listen to what you have to say because they know you have the facts. They may not particularly care for the way you deliver it, and they may not particularly care for how it's presented, but they listen. Oh yeah, they listen.
Yeah, but there's no sit down, work together type of scenario that I'm imagining in my head. It's more that they'll read our posts online, they'll watch our videos, and they'll chatter amongst themselves. But instead of really changing it, there's no olive branch to sit down and say, how can we work with you and people in the community to sit down and do that. It's just been my experience. They don't work with the most loud. Those are the people they'll tell other people, don't listen to her, she's crazy. So they don't listen to me instead of meeting with me. Does that make sense? That's
makes sense.
I understand. I understand what you're saying, but here's my perspective. I don't see. We have a new administration. I don't recall us reaching out to them either.
Sure.
Now, if we reach out to them and we don't get the response, then we can say, okay, I'm not talking about the old administration because, I hate when I know we have to reference back, but for me, I rather deal in the present. You know what I mean? So we could say, okay, you got a new administration. You're calling for this new direction. You're saying things are going to be different. You're claiming to be transparent. If you could meet with a group of people about cats, animal lovers, don't kill me, including Lisa, then you should be able to meet with us about the concerns we have for the community. Because we're not just sitting here talking about filing our nails. We're talking about things that directly impact the community that we live in.
But so then United Civics that goes in and they claim to be speaking for all of us, and they're just made up of the same old group of people. Like, I remember seeing a post go up saying term limits passed, thanking the civics or something. The civics,
James Cameron made a post about taking the credit, but again, that goes on our end, because if you have a group claiming to be the United Civics of a community, then it is safe and logically to assume that you have reached out to all the civics and you have a united stand. If you have 2 or 3 groups, you cannot be you can be that group of united people, but you can't possibly represent everybody if you haven't spoken to anyone.
They're like the group broken United Civics, like whatever was left over of these small fragments put together, run by the same couple of people, and then they'll take them in and say, see, but we're working with the community. And that's not really representative of the community at large. The community at large has had it with the nonsense in government, the nonsense in the civic groups, the same old, the no action, the all talk and nothing but BS. They're tired of it. They gave up. I think that's one of the reasons why we decided to start doing this show, was because people were meeting out.
It's true. And
there are no regular meetings.
No,
Here,
no,
here,
that's another thing. They don't have meetings. None of them. None of them.
but they
So
don't.
how are you listening
But
to the people? You can't listen to people by what they say on a Facebook page.
Correct.
but you can't have a meeting if you don't even know what the group is about. We can't even,
Right.
and you have to be careful when people are, because I know there's one particular gentleman that always speaks for them. Here's my thing, and here's my concern, where as a concerned citizen I'd be like, hold the phone. You have one of the main people, which is Steven Spooches. No one's, we all know who he is. We know what
Who?
his Steven,
I know he's never at any meeting any of us have been going to unless we go to his. And
he doesn't do anything. We don't see him at any events yet.
Town hall, nothing.
Yet, I remember, and Jenny, I'm sure you can back me on this. He was the loudest person saying, I don't need a seat in town hall. I don't want to have anything to do with the boards. I just want to work for the people. That's all I care about. He's currently sitting in the open space committee that's on town. So you did want to get your seat somewhere. And you wanted to get your foot in the door, but that's what you ran on, because you're for the people and you want to talk about everything, and you don't care about a town. You don't care about, but you're on a town board right now.
Wow.
I wonder how many of them would continue to support you, knowing all the dirt that you do and all the mass hysteria you tend to cause with your foolishness. I don't think they would be too happy to hear that, but that's another show. So you have to be careful when you have these people backing you, and then they have this reputation of, how many town boards have you seen him at?
I've been watching them online. Thank you for going to the last one with me. I had not been in a long time.
Fun.
I didn't feel welcome before. Daniel Carbon was also, most people know him, the Clog Man. I'm still upset over that. Because the charges that had been filed against him and the restraint, all of that had been dropped like within a week. And of course, they never make that the leading story on the patch or anything. They'll talk about the Clog Man getting arrested and for biting a cop when the cop grabbed him. But they won't say, oh, and the charges were dropped and there's no restraining order, but this man can't have his voice heard at town hall. So that bothers me, because I've always been about freedom of speech and free flow of information.
And he had the issue with Frank. This is
right.
my thing is that this is a new administration. We need to start new and fresh all together.
All of us, everybody needs to start off fresh. She's gonna bark, I know it. She always does. She's been waiting better though.
Patiently. She's like, I gotta go, Mom. I gotta go now. But I think, that's something that's a definite show that we need to have.
I'm sorry. The civics topic is my silly dog. We should do just a show on the civics and break it down for people as to who's who and where are these meetings, and show the inactivity of their Facebook page, which now someone's going to post something. I just know it. They're going to be like, I'm posting this because they said we don't.
Right. Miraculously, we're going to have a long post. Come on. And we all know the game you play.
I worry about the people who what was the one? It was the Valencia Tavern. The young man from Brooklyn who grew up here in Florida, Matt Sutton, I think his name is, if I'm not okay. And he started a petition. Now, I don't always agree on what people choose to stand up for.
Right.
But I support the fact that they're standing up for something. And we always talk about people who, we're not getting our youth involved. And the minute they do, they start getting piled on. And so there was this we'll get to that one later. Maybe I'll even show that one. But he's starting this thing. And I felt the need to actually warn him. Don't get involved with the Greater Huntington Civic Group or the United Civics of Huntington, because they will only use you and your cause to make themselves appear still relevant or bigger. And it's sad that I had to warn him, but truly, these groups are better off on their own instead of the same old people watering down their message with their own message. See, it's like when I get very mad that Huntington Matters doesn't have meetings, because it's not about somebody standing in front of a group of a meeting and telling you how to think. It's about being present in that meeting and hearing the feedback from what the people are thinking also. And that's what's more important than somebody telling me why I came to their meeting. Those meetings were meant for people to be heard.
I agree with you on that 100%. 100% on that. I think those type of meetings, the reason why I go to civic engagement events is because my concern may be that, the garbage men throw my trash cans on my grass. My neighbor's concern could be all the lights on our streets are out. The neighbor down the street can be concerned because this dog barks 500 times. And then I learn so much by interacting with other people, and I learn what the community. That's how you know what the community's concern is.
People, talking to people, being with people.
Why did they stop having the meetings anyway?
I don't know. Greater Huntington. Well, the one that you went to, Lisa, the last one you were at the United Civics, that was their last meeting, right? And they really were talking at a group of people who were all pretty much involved. Every single person in that room was a regular, typical suspect. And like I think you had specifically said, June was like telling people why they should get involved. But it's a small group of people telling all these people what they should do. That doesn't engage people. That doesn't get them to even do anything. It doesn't give them hope, and it doesn't build strong communities. People want to be heard. And it hasn't been happening for a really long time. We used to have open
really like to be heard at the Huntington Matters meetings when we had them at the library. They were always full, and people always had something to say.
So was the Greater Huntington Civic Group when I was a part of it. We used to have open mic, and we used to let the people in the audience get up, and they ran the meeting. It was a meeting
at the VFW, right?
Yes, the best
at the
VFW.
I remember that
huge one at the Moose. But I used to have to walk around with a microphone, like I was some sort of, like, you see those religious ministries where they go around and there's so many people there, and this one needs to be heard, and you got to get on the mic. You know what I'm talking about? The rooms were full.
Yeah.
No, I've attended. In the past, of course, I've attended quite a few meetings, at the VFW for your organization. I remember, I think it was James Cameron who brought me into that one and had me. And it was some issues after you took over, because miraculously I stopped receiving emails, I stopped receiving correspondence, and everything else. But here is another thing that I've heard amongst people in the community. The greatest civic, and I hate to harp on one group, but I mean, if you're telling me that you're the greatest civics, or the Civics United, not the greatest civics. If you're telling me that, then of course you are attempting to speak for the community. But what I've heard, they don't represent anything. I mean, it's the same it's the same people. Everybody looks alike. Everybody thinks alike, and they say the same thing in a different manner. I think what people are failing to realize is that this world is changing drastically. Whether you like it or not, it's changing. Diversity is something you must embrace in order to be successful. Even with our show here, we have diversity. Even though, first of all, we're all women. I mean, that's diversity, because it's usually a male-dominated, atmosphere. So let's be honest. But
they got rid of their spokeswoman.
Right.
And
yeah.
They pulled off their passion and their cheerleader and their heart, and they don't realize how much women put so much of themselves into what they do. And when you try to take that out of your equation, you kill your group. And that's
you do. You do. And even even on this show, we all have different opinions. Jenny loves Trump. I hate Trump. Lisa, I think you like Trump too.
Go Trump.
So and we have different aspects on local things. You guys were against term limits. I'm for term limits. But the thing that we're able to do is we're able to discuss things openly and honestly, without being nasty to one another, without being, overly crazy. So it is a nice, diverse mixture. And we're only able to do that because we have embraced the diversity and we work with it. I believe that's why we have a nice flow when we work together. Until they do that, I think they'll continue to have that one lonely guy that always speaks for them. I don't remember his name. And There'll
I
always
do.
be a
He's a
miss.
really nice guy, though. He's super
He
nice.
is. He seems to be really nice, but he's the only one we always see. So how united are you that
And
it's
he doesn't even really have a title. Meanwhile, what did you do? You killed your cheerleader. You killed your cheerleader. You dummies. You idiots. Stupidity.
we're taking her mic tonight.
I got pom-poms. I got pom-poms.
Lisa, we're taking her
you know
mic
what
tonight.
else I
She's
got? God, not to
Yes.
sweat because I love talking about the civic groups and letting people know. I got a red light ticket. And look, you know what was really
yes.
awful? Let me show you which car was mine. Wait, hold on. And these are crazy. This is my car. You see that? You see the red lights? You see the red brake lights on at the light? The red brake lights? I stopped, but apparently I didn't stop long enough. So now I'm a criminal.
Oh my God.
I didn't count to, what do you got to count to now? I know I stopped, but $80. It's a $50 ticket and then a $30 administrative fee.
So how do we? I remember seeing a post. I'm not sure where it was. In regards to someone had gotten a red light ticket and
they
she wanted to know.
Not pay them.
Right.
So I found out firsthand you could not pay them, and they just don't care because what they do is they report it to your credit, and it builds interest. And when you go to sell your home, refinance, or take out a home equity, you have to clear everything on your home. I had to pay for red light tickets that I think I forgot to pay one, and it had gotten up to like $400 because they never sent me a like, oh, hey, you forgot to pay this bill. And so they just put it on, and it's accumulated and accumulated and accumulated. And I wasn't able to get my home equity until I paid the ransom for the red light ticket, which is probably, again, not, well, it's true, they're holding my money hostage. I can't get my money on my home equity until I pay you your money that you're stealing from me to begin with.
So can you fight it?
No, you have to pay it.
So there's no fighting it.
Well, I mean, yeah, okay, so
you could at like night traffic court. I
went to go fight one of these stupid things, and I got another ticket after I left the court.
Why?
I got another
fighting
ticket. No, I went to clear up a ticket that I had cleared up years before, but something happened in Hempstead in Nassau County with their records, and I had to reprove it, so I had to go back in my records, really old, and appear down. And as I was leaving the courthouse from clearing up a ticket I had already paid a bazillion years ago, I got a red light ticket in Nassau County. It's just like, and it's another fee, and I hate these.
It's things. Ridiculous, is what it is. It's ridiculous.
What are they doing with all this money?
I don't know.
They're saving it up for the veterans.
They better.
I know it.
That's all I could say is. I hope so. Hope you're right with that one. Jenny, I know you wanted to talk about
I'm going to show you what they're not doing with the money.
In the middle.
Whoa, whoops. I'm sorry. You know me. I'm trying to set up our next little thing, and then you're on to another subject before I can bring you.
No, I was going to talk about the potholes. So yes. That's important. Nobody wants their car to be swallowed. Well, at least I don't want my car.
Well, I've heard that you just report it to the town and they come out and they fix it.
They're everywhere, though. They need to fix all the roads. They need to be scraped and redone. Hold on. Let me show you this one. This one's a little crazy.
So I'm in the middle of Huntington Village, the heart of the whatever is for the town of Huntington. And I'm here really showing you the roads. You guys pay some of the highest taxes in the nation. And this is
I saw this one.
Of your village.
I hit that one.
So bad. I'm going to let my car just do whatever it's going to do. Drove by this earlier, and I'm like, I have to get this on film. It's like, oh, find me a pothole. How do you miss them? How do you miss them? And how do we tolerate this? You know, they talk about how high our taxes are. what are they doing with our money, though? It's like they're waiting for a Trump infrastructure bill to redo our roads. You collect our taxes. What are you doing with our taxes that you can't manage this yourself? That you have to wait for somebody to give you more money on top of what you're already collecting before you can do anything about the roads. So anyways, these are definitely the main roads. Normally there's an argument over whether it's county, state, or town as to who's going to fix it. I think most people don't care who's responsible for fixing it. No matter what, you paid New York State taxes, and it should be. Also notice the white lines in the middle of the road. The arrows are all worn out in some places where the parking spots are. Also the school crossing ones, those are you almost can't see them up a little further into Huntington Station and whatnot. But this is New York Avenue heading through the heart of Huntington. And got some more boom booms coming up here, so watch out. Shake a little. But with the amount of money that we pay in taxes in this town, our roads should be glass. You should be able to rollerblade on these things. Mm-hmm. But you can't even look at the white lines, all worn out. You see where they've done work and they've just done patchy work. And of course, everybody's been stalking this place.
Oh God, how ugly.
Yeah, there's another huge pothole coming up there.
That is hideous.
See all the framings done. I have to come back and create my video on that. But yeah, heart of the village, heart of the economic boom boom for the town of Huntington, and they can't even paint the stalls, and the roads are a mess.
Mess.
And what happens when you do damage to your car? That comes out of your pocket, right?
Yeah, of course.
Town's not going to help you.
Well, can you, depending on when, I don't know, is that fully true? Can you not submit the bill to town hall depending upon where the pothole was?
I'd like to find that answer out. Especially if you've reported the pothole.
If that was true, I would have been able to run through my therapy bill for the last year easily.
I just can't.
I'm really not in therapy.
I can't.
Maybe that's the problem. I need to get into therapy.
God, Lisa, what are we going to do with this one?
Actually, I was just thinking we should do a show on our rollerblades going down New York Avenue, and then we'll send them the medical bill.
One of us will be on a skateboard, a scooter, and rollerblades.
I'll take this. I'll take the scooter.
Elbow guards.
We won't get very far.
No.
I'm going to look like the Kool-Aid woman coming in there. Oh, I'm trying to see me on rollerblades. I'm not that spring chicken no more.
No, I don't. I think, but I would like to really find out if we could submit that, because I mean, if it's on a town road or a state road and it's been reported and you damage your car significantly, I think, if we don't take care of something, the town has no problem finding us. So if they don't take care of something, I don't see why we can't find them.
I saw a guy the other day driving down Pulaski Road, and he was in front of me, and I saw the front of his car, dip down. And I was far enough behind him. I started slowing down because he put his brake lights on, and he pulled over to the side of the road. And sure enough, he hit a really big pothole. He got out of his car. He was looking at his front end, and he was pissed. He was really mad.
Wow.
So I could tell something happened to his car just by the way the car just went like that. Oh, it was not pretty. Not pretty. That's why I was thinking of the question, because who pays for that? Who pays for that? Does he have to go through insurance, or can he go through the town? I don't know. I was just curious.
I think that's something we should investigate.
We could chase down somebody and then film them like an ambulance chaser.
I know. I thought of it afterwards.
Follow up on their story.
I thought of that
I
afterwards. It was
can't.
too late. Yeah.
Okay. Um, sorry, I was writing that down.
Oh,
I
no
wrote
worries.
it down
No worries.
too.
One of the other things that they were bringing up that Andrew Cuomo brought up in his State of the Union was affordable college for all. Oh, no, not all. Only all making under 125,000 a year. And there's other hoops and other things, just like when you fill out a grant thing for a specific purpose, you also have to fill out an application for this as well. So you could get denied or you could get accepted, but most of our kids will be denied because the 125 is really not 125. It's
Not to mention, you have to stay here, I think, like 5 years, or you have to pay that money back. Not only as a parent that has two children in college at the same time, the fun you have when you're young, you don't think about it, how you have to pay when they get older, but that's another story. It sounded great, especially for my daughter who attends a state college. Not a state college, a college in New York State, forgive me. So we thought we were going to get, at least some breaks. No. Not only do they have a lot of income verification that you have to meet, but the child also has to agree to stay within New York State. I think it's either for 5 or 6 years. And if they don't, then it's not free anymore. You still owe that money. Here's my problem. My kids, my children, not so much my daughter, my sons, today they want to be, doctors. Tomorrow they want to be priests. And the next day they want to be wrestlers. I cannot, comfortably say that a 19-year-old knows they're going to stay somewhere for the next 5 years after they graduate. You get your diploma, you get your degree, you might want to venture off. My daughter has already said once she gets her degree, before she goes into her master's program, she wants to travel abroad for a year. She's not staying in New York. She wants to travel. Why not? She doesn't have it, she doesn't have any other responsibilities. She wants to travel. Go ahead. You do what you have to do, and you come back, you do your master's program. So it sounds great the way that they put it up, but they don't include all the small, like you said, little hiccups or the little fragments that we won't qualify for anyway. So,
Lisa, your microphone's off.
Better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry. What kind of colleges specifically are they talking about? I mean, it's not going to include Harvard or Yale.
First of all, it's in New York State, and it's SUNY and CUNY. So any SUNY or CUNY school is included, but it's only in New York State. And right. Harvard already has something implemented. If you make less than $100,000 a year, your kid could go for free anyway,
but
provided they make it in.
Didn't we just hear everybody talking about how the Trump tax plan was screwing all these New Yorkers because we can't deduct our very, very high, almost highest in the nation, state and local taxes, our SALT deduction. But here you are now giving out more stuff. And regardless of how good it is, okay, you could say everybody's getting a new car. Everybody's getting it doesn't matter how great the deal is. The fact is we just got over this hump where everybody's complaining that the tax plan is going to hurt me because I can't deduct my very, very high state and local highest in the, and we're okay with $55 billion for a bridge. It's bridge, tunnel, whatever. It's one project. How much is this college thing going to cost? Because there's no such thing as free. It's taxpayer funded. It's not free.
AKA free. AKA, yeah. So, you could sell it as, we just had, when we were talking about the veterans, you could sell it as free, but it's not really free. And I don't think the deal sounds that great to me once you read. Like I said, as a parent that has two kids currently in college right now, it sounds great. But when you read into the nitty gritty, you're like, I can't even, this is not so great. So it's like,
Well, Well, can I just make one quick point about it that was great? I work with guys that make less than $40,000 a year, which is well below the poverty level in New York. And I do payroll, and I was so excited to calculate it. In fact, I get to go in tomorrow and print the checks. I'm so excited about doing something I normally do because there's so much more benefit. And this guy makes $700 before taxes on the books, and he will be making an extra $215 in his take-home checks because of the federal deduction. It's really close now to the Social Security line, like if you look at your taxes that they take out all the time. But we did get hit with the fresh tax from Cuomo. We got the Family Medical Leave Act was put on the, so we lost a little bit here for the Family Medical Leave Act from Cuomo taxing us again in New York State, this time on your paycheck, but we're getting a huge reduction on federal. So if anybody wants to use that as a baseline, $700, he's getting about $215 back in his paycheck. It makes me, I mean, these are, he makes $36,400 a year. That's life altering to somebody like that. That's their electric bill. It's a lot of money. It's not peanuts. It's not crumbs.
Yep.
It is a lot of money. I just wonder how it's going to work when it comes back to income tax season, because a lot of people who make those a lot of people that make that type of money, they rely on their income tax to ensure to carry them over.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not taking out anything, how could you get anything back? And some people don't see it when it's there every time, every paycheck, but they see it in the, what is going on back there? They see it in the lump sum.
The dog barking. She's trying to come down here and save me, but the dog.
Oh, she's so sweet.
But Vivian, you can say hi to everybody. It's fine. Hi, everybody. Vivian, the world.
Hi, Vivian. How are you?
How are you?
Good. Oh, she's so cute.
My girl.
She looks so pretty, yes.
My girl. So, we are down. We decided that we're going to start having segments now. This was Dana's brainchild at our lunch last week, which we have to do again. We got to go out again because we had some great ideas come out of that. So our new segment is going to be local social media. So
that's Lisa's baby.
Welcome to local social media. Lisa, would you like to give us some highlights that you saw on local social media pages just this week?
Oh my goodness, where do I start? I guess the first one, just touch really quickly on the Village Tavern, aka VT. It's the second oldest bar in Huntington, and it used to be my grandfather's watering hole. After he would get off work, when he started Knight's Taxi way back in the day. I have a lot of roots here in Huntington. I think they really just want to demolish it and build more apartments, more affordable housing, more horse crap. And the other thing that I just noticed today was someone was mentioning, we have a couple, there was a post about a local couple that really just panhandles for cash. I've noticed them many places, and obviously the comments go from, you heartless people, how could dare you say anything bad, to, a comment that I made. I tried to take them into the supermarket that they panhandle at. I was going to buy them food once, come with me, I'll buy you a little bit of food, a little bit of a budget. And then you'll be on your way. And they don't want food, they want money. And
is that the couple that lives at the roadway across the street from King Cullen on Jericho Turnpike?
That's what I've heard, because I've seen
That's
them.
One of the ones that Steve Ballone
by King Cullen.
Yes, Steve Ballone. Not a lot of people know this, but the roadway across from King Cullen, there's two buildings. The one on the right, I guess they still rent. The one on the left, they're using to house homeless people, and the county's been paying for it.
What?
Very interesting.
Yes.
Very interesting to know. Mm-hmm. But not for the
veterans.
No, I didn't know that until you just said it.
Oh my God.
No, I'm just talking about the post I saw that they're talking about.
Write this down for next week. We'll go through it. We're not the only town that started using this as a measure to take care of the homeless problem. They're doing it out east. There's a couple of places out in the Hamptons that have been putting their homeless out in some of the old shanty hotels. And yeah.
I thought it was a hotel.
It is a hotel.
But there's two pieces of it.
Pieces of it. In fact, they were just filming was it a Robert De Niro movie there?
Yeah, The Irishman.
The Irishman, and they changed the sign. So funny because I'm so non-observant sometimes. I was like, I guess somebody must have run that sign over because it's all covered, but they were filming a movie there because that place is really old and it still does have the.
It used to be the Holiday Inn. It
looks like an old Howard Johnson's.
Yes. Yeah. That's what I meant. I didn't mean
old Hojos. I used to love the Hojos. Definitely showing my age. Oh, Dana, I'm sorry you didn't know. Yeah, Suffolk County has been paying to house homeless. Yeah, in hotels.
No, I didn't know that. I was just talking about the post about this couple because you'll see them from the King Cullen
there,
and then you'll see them all the way to Best Market.
What do they look like?
They're a white couple, man and a woman.
Girl, white couple. They
hold a cardboard sign that says "We're homeless."
Yeah, and they take the grocery cart from they work the area on it's the north side of Jericho.
Yeah.
And they work it from King Cullen down to Best Market and back. They work that whole area.
I've never seen them.
But this is constant. It's their job.
You'll see them now. You're gonna be like, wow, until you mentioned it, I didn't notice. You'll see them now.
Do they have bikes? Do they have bikes?
Never seen them on a bicycle.
No, I never seen them.
I've just seen them on foot, sitting there or standing there with a cardboard sign that says "We're homeless." Mm-hmm. Well, if they're homeless and they're living at the roadway for free, I don't understand why they.
No, it's not free. It's taxpayer funded. We've stopped using that word "free." It's just free for them, but we're still paying for it.
Well, it must be lucrative, for them to be begging every single day. People do give the money. But I'm out. You don't want me to take you into Best Market and give you some food for free?
No.
Are you kidding me? I'm done. I'm out. Sorry, I work way too hard for my money, and you don't want food? Then what the hell do you want? What are you begging for? Money? Great. What are you going to use for your money? Rent? Oh no, you clearly got that covered.
That's upsetting.
It is upsetting.
That's very upsetting.
It was very, very upsetting when I originally saw them years ago. I felt really, really horrible for them. I wanted to help them. I wanted to do something for them. But then you see them the next year, and you see them again and again and again and again, just work in different spots. Come on.
This is what they do.
There's a lot more to that, than a real person who's maybe mentally challenged or physically.
Right.
I saw some funny stuff going on. I think I'm going to record it and bring it to us next week. There's this one building where there's stuff going on that's probably going to get me killed by the Asian mafia or something. But there's some weird stuff going on in this town. Buildings and stuff. No, true story. Truth.
Oh my God.
Their turn. Somebody else had a slug.
I just want to have a show.
Conversation. I don't understand.
I just want to have a show where Jenny doesn't say anything that makes me blush. No. One show where she doesn't make me blush and lose all. I've watched the show and I will be so astute and making my points.
Duct tape and put no hate on it.
And she says this one thing and it loses everything and I hate it, but it's so funny. Who says that? The Asian? I can't. No. I'm not dealing with this tonight.
Olaf does it. That's who.
So where is this building?
Still there.
Hey, that looks like my hat, my red hat.
Oh God!
And the red pom-poms.
I don't have anything to say.
That's okay. That's good. That's a good way for us to close the show because we're at the end of another show. We are rocking it.
That is crazy.
Time flew, right? Can't believe it's almost
It
9 o'clock.
did. I'm looking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right, I like our new time
Wow.
slot. So,
I
do
do too.
you ladies have anything final to add?
I don't have anything to say except for I'm gonna go look for that couple because I just need to understand what's going on in my town.
Try
Um,
Best Market tomorrow during, like lunch hour.
Okay. And I'll tell you what I find.
Yeah.
Okay.
I always see them standing on the street with their sign, begging in traffic right on Jericho.
That's usually when they're standing at King Cullen. When they're at Best Market, I notice they're sitting on the curb.
By Kentucky Fried Chicken. That's where I always see them when I'm driving up and down on Jericho.
Oh, I've never seen them there. Okay. Wow.
Right.
I'll be looking.
All right.
Maybe we should video them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Interview them.
A little video segment, and then everybody, people who aren't familiar with the area, they're like, "Oh, now I know the area." Once you give them a little bit of a visual boost.
Yeah.
Yes.
We should do
Yes.
that.
So
Okay.
Well, I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight on Be the Media Huntington, the Huntington View. We've had yet another great hour with you. We will see you again next Tuesday, unless something else happens, hopefully in our new time slot, unless there's a town board meeting we have to go to or something to that effect. But they're going to be live streaming now, so we're good. So other than that, I hope everyone enjoyed tonight's Huntington View. Have a good evening, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Good night.